Done. Wow. Okay. Okay, let's move on. So apart from Splunk, we have other vendors that are providing SIM solution like IBM, McAfee, RSA, Sophos, and the likes. They provide a Splunk solution. But like I said, one of the differentiating factor for Splunk is that it has ability for developers to create apps. So it does not just exist on its own. Different developers around the world create apps that can integrate with the Splunk, easily with API. So it is very easy for a lot of people to use and customize to their own environment. So let me talk about the major key feature that we need to know for Splunk. The first thing is we have to understand is first is the Splunk forwarder. So Splunk forwarder in this instance means a receiver, like the agents that I talked about earlier that needs to be installed on each of these endpoints. So the Splunk forwarder will be installed on, for example, your Windows server or your database server, or your application server, or whatever your endpoint. So it's just an agent that will be installed to collect logs, syslog, application logs, security log from your endpoint or firewall logs, and send them to what we call a Splunk indexer. So the indexer is where Splunk store the logs. So it indexes those, so it processes the incoming logs, the machine data logs. It processes those logs and store them in form of an index, as a physical file on the server. So that whenever you are searching for events, what will happen is that the search head will go and search the indexer and say, okay, this person is looking for this particular information, kindly provide it. So the indexer will search for that information and provide the feedback. So those are the key components of Splunk. The search head that is used for searching. You as a cybersecurity analyst, what you do is that most of the time you interact with the search head using the Splunk search language, right, to filter for events, right? That search request to go through Splunk indexer and provide the data to you. While the Splunk folder gets data continuously from the source, from various sources like this. Now, so those are just the basic components of the Splunk. So also, so this is just a theoretical explanation of what I've just said. The folder collects the data from remote machines, and ensure that they are indexed in real time. The indexer processes the incoming data in real time, and the search head is what you as a user interacts with to search for information, right? Also now when information or when the events are indexed, what Splunk will do is that Splunk will add a default metadata to this event. So the default metadata are source, host, and source type. So what is source? Source is the part of the input data. So the name, right? The name of the file that you're uploading. For example, I would say if it's a Windows security log, the source name will be Windows security log. That's the name, the input file, the name of the input file you are trying to bring into Splunk. The host, of course, is customizable. You are going to write maybe a window. If it's a window log, you're going to put it as window, maybe base 64 log or Windows server log. So it's just like the name you are giving to that particular log file. Then the source type, most of the time when you upload data into Splunk, Splunk will analyze the data, search the parameters of data. So, okay, this is a Linux log file, this is a Windows log file, this is a firewall log file based on the parameter. But you also can change or customize the source type. You understand? So the source type is okay. This kind of info, this kind of log is actually Linux. It is not Windows, so that it is easy for you to search. So index, by default, if you don't set an index, it is by default is set to main index, right? So the next thing I want to talk about is okay, the various ways you can upload data to Splunk. The first one is manually through an upload option. That is what we are going to use for the lab upload because sorry, because of the time. So we are just going to upload raw logs into Splunk, right? Then also the monitoring option, provide one-time or continuous monitoring of files. So you can monitor files or scripts, also or network ports. That's another option. Then the main one that is commonly used for, especially in banks, are the forward option. Yeah, the forward option, you are going to install the forwarder that we talked about here. Once the forwarder is installed on this endpoint, you are of course going to use the forward option. That what it means is that subsequently you are expecting that logs from the source is sent. So the forwarder will forward those new updates, new logs that have been generated, or on a scheduled basis to Splunk, right? So that you can index it and search for relevant information. Now, this is just an overview of how Splunk looks like. So I've created one. So I sent a guide. Maybe after the lecture, you guys can look into it. Very easy, within 10-15 minutes, you are up creating one. So this is like the user interface. The first thing we have up there is the application bar, where the various apps, like I said, the Splunk, one of the major components of Splunk is that it is made up of a lot of applications. I will tell you, for example, Sophos, or let me say Cisco. Cisco has a developer can come up and develop a Cisco app that you can integrate with Splunk to get data from Cisco firewall, for example. You will see a lot of those application here. Once you go to app, this app part, you see all you need to do is just to install, just like your phone, you are going to Google Play Store app to download and install. That's how it works too. So the only thing that most of those apps, they are not free, right? You have to pay, they are licensed for you to use them, right? So that's why we have the app bar. Then we have the search bar, where we definitely going to be using to search for information. Or we have the time range picker, right? We have the time range picker, where you can narrow your search to a specific time frame, right? So we also have the events, where you will see the number of events, the patterns. It will show you the variation in the events that is being captured, statistics and visualization in terms of the graphical illustration of your events, right?